Greetings everybody and welcome back. This time we got a Magicka DK for you. This is an amazing build. By the way, I'm recording this on Twitch and I just had to laugh every time I did the intro. Well, let's just jump right into it. This is a good one, I promise. So, let's look at the Magicka here. So, 34.5k Magicka. That's a good amount. That's a really good amount here. I'm happy with that. The health also not bad, almost 24k here, and the stamina sitting just shy of 15k. Can't be mad about that. Pretty good stats all around here. The Magicka recovery, 1800, unbuffed. That's really, really nice. Goes up by quite a bit, of course. But overall, the way we play this build, it's kind of sustaining. It's kind of sustaining. We're working with a lot of heavy attacks here, so a good way to just get more resources back while you're actually doing the combos. So don't worry about the sustain. I found the sustain on this build actually quite enjoyable. The spell damage, you know, we can get some extra spell damage here. Fully buffed, we're sitting at I think 3.8k or something, like just shy of like 4k. And of course, if we take a resource and Cyrodiil, this goes up to over 4k, like 4.1, 4.2. So a decent amount of spell damage here, but that's, you know, that's not where the build shines, in my opinion, because it shines in the penetration department. We got 14k unbuffed. This goes up to, I think, like fully buffed 29k. I don't want to lie to you, but I think it's 29k. Fully buffed. Usually you're going to be sitting around like 19k here, but you know, when all the sets go off, and you'll see the sets in a second, it's going to be 29k. So enjoy. If you look at the resistances here, just under 20k spell and just under 15k physical. So we are a light armor build, so we are fairly squishy, but we don't have to. If we play the build right, we got the misform, as you just saw. You know, we can be quite tanky here. We went for the Atro Mundus just for the nice sustain here. If you're fine with the sustain and you feel adventurous, feel free to just go for a little more spell damage here if you feel like it, but I would say the Atro is the way to go here. We're stage 1 vampire. We're using a couple vampire things here, but nothing that would really like justify going above stage 1, in my opinion. I feel like even stage 2 is like, you just don't get much out of it. If you want to do that, you can do that. Stage 2 would be fine because you can get some extra spell damage for being for just using misform. I opted out of it because I wanted cheaper skills. I wanted to be more sustaining, and you know, I just didn't care much about the extra 300 spell damage, to be completely honest. We're using the Witch Mother's Potent Brew here. You know it, you love it. It's a cheap drink. Works well, gives you everything that you need. That's all we need to know. Let's move on to the sets. So we're running Stuns, and you might ask yourself, Stuns on a Magicka DK, how do you want to proc that? I will explain that in a second. Just be sure that you can. That's all you need to know. You can, and pretty easy actually. So Stuns is a good set. Just overall pretty decent stats here, and of course when you set someone off balance, you get the juicy 5k physical and spell penetration. That is very nice. So that's gonna do us a lot of favors here. The next set is Amber Plasm. Look at this, everything golded out. Beautiful sight. Amber Plasm is one of the best sets in the game, in my opinion. It offers a good amount of damage. It gives you the max Magicka and the spell damage, and some spell critical, and then amazing regions across the board. It's such a good set. They even buffed it this patch, and it's just, I don't even know why they buffed it. It was already so good, and now it's even better. I love it. You can run this on any Magicka build if you want. This is a good base set, just giving you a little extra damage and a lot of sustain across the board. So very nice. The next set we're using is, of course, Balorg here, just for, you know, extra spell damage, and you know, when you use an ultimate, you gain a lot of extra spell damage and penetration. That's why I'm saying, like, fully buffed, we're going to be sitting at, you know, when the Balorg when the Stuns goes off, we're going to be at 19k, and when this goes off fully buffed, we're going to be sitting at like over 1,000. So we're probably actually going to get into like the 30k penetration range, so you should be able to penetrate fully against most targets when you're fully buffed. So yeah, that's a good thing. When it comes to enchants and trades, of course, you know the drill. I do it on all my builds. Infused on the big pieces with the Tri-Stat enchants, and Impen on the smaller ones with the Magicka enchants. This one here has a stamina. Doesn't matter. You can put health on, stamina, depending on where you want your stats to be. We got enough Magicka. If you feel like you need a little more health, you're not happy with like 23k health, feel free to put some health enchants on. I think Magicka on all of them should be fine, or you do a mix and match. I would not recommend putting Tri-Stats on. That's too expensive and you don't get much out of it, so don't do that. But other than that, you know, Magicka is fine. Of course, the jewelry is arcane with spell damage enchants. That's the way to go. That's how we always do it. And then the setup here, infused restoration staff on the back bar with a weapon damage and spell damage enchant. Just, you know, poke someone with a light attack, get the extra damage, and then go to town. This one here is sharpened with a shock damage enchant. Sharpened because, you know, extra penetration. We're going for the penetration on this build. And the shock damage because it can proc the minor vulnerability, which is 8% extra damage. So, yeah, that's a nice little damage buff. And that's the sets, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the skills. The first one here is Hypnosis. This is, of course, a vampire skill. You know, I was a little iffy about this build, about this skill. I wanted to use it, but, you know, I knew that it would be kind of iffy to use, but I decided, you know, let's just do it. And I can tell you, if it works, it is beautiful. It is so fun to just stun people with this. But I also have to tell you, sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes it just does not stun people, which makes this skill really bad. But overall, I would say it's a good one. If you learn how to use it correctly, you can get a lot of use out of it. It is a pretty strong stun. It goes through block. It hits everyone around you as long as they're looking at you. So if you're getting pummeled on by a lot of people, put the skill on and get the hell out of there. So pretty good one when it works. The next one is the Burning Embers. Of course, you know, does a little bit of upfront damage, puts a dot on people, heals you when it runs out, or if you apply it again. So you can basically like spam Burning Embers on a target and just refresh the duration and always get a good heal out of it, actually. You know, I feel like in a 1v1, it's always good to just, you know, just keep it going. Just spam that thing when you're not trying to do anything else here. You know, you can just spam that and just do a lot of damage and, you know, buff your whip while you're doing it and get the healing out of it. So I like it. A little tip, when you're 1vxing, you want to put this skill on everyone around you, even NPCs, because it's going to tick on everybody. It's going to run out after a couple seconds, or when the target dies, or you reapply the thing, you're going to get a decent heal out of it. So make sure you apply it to every target that you can. That is going to keep you alive. You know, that is free healing that's coming in all the time when you have a lot of target with the Burning Embers on. So definitely do that. Just a little tip, right? The next one is the Molten Whip. Of course, this is the morph that gets the double damage when you fully buff it up, which, you know, you need to use an Ardent Flame ability, which these two are. These two are Ardent Flame abilities. So what I like to do is, like, I do a heavy attack into an Empowering Chains, pull myself to the target, do 2 Burning Embers, and then my whip is fully buffed, and then I just cast the whip, right? And as you can see from the tooltip, if you strike an enemy that is immobile or stunned, you set them off balance. So the way to do it, of course, you stun them with Hypnosis, you hit them with the Molten Whip once, and then they're off balance, and then you have the full penetration. So make sure you set them off balance first before you hit them with the big leap here, just to make sure they're fully, you know, they're fully primed and you can really apply the most damage to them. So yeah, that is basically the combo, and that is a really nice hard-hitting skill. You can hit people for a lot. I hit people, like, even a no CP, I hit people for like 9k whips. That's a lot of damage. So yeah, it's a good one. Next one, as I mentioned, Empowering Chains. This is your gap closer, basically. I like this morph better than the other one because I like to be mobile and I like to pull myself to the target. I don't want the target to come to me because that means the only thing you can do is get more people to you, and you can never get out of a situation. So that's why Empowering Chains is great. You can get into a situation and you can get out of a situation. You have a couple people on you and you need to get away from that, and you see a target in the distance, an NPC or another player, you can use the chains to pull yourself out of the Zerg and get away, which I like. Also gives you the Major Expedition when you do that for 4 seconds, making you nice and fast, so that's pretty cool. And of course, the light attacks get buffed by 40% after using this, which on this build is actually useful because we're doing a lot of light attacks. We're weaving light attacks with every skill, so using the Empowering Chains just makes sense. I use it a lot, even on people that, you know, are like directly in front of me. I told you that in like other build videos. I like to just use gap closers at minimum distance still, because you can get something out of it. It does damage, it gives you the speed, it buffs the light attack, so yeah, why wouldn't you use it, right? Just use it. The next one is Inner Light. This is, of course, just, you know, passive. It buffs your Magicka by 7%, 5% for having it slotted, and then in the major skill passives, there's another like 2% that you can get for having a major skill slotted. So overall, this gives you 7% extra max Magicka, a little extra damage. It doesn't hurt, and of course, it gives you the Major Prophecy, which is the major spell crit buff. So, you know, just a passive skill. Of course, you can use this to pull out Nightblades, but DK has other skills that they can use to pull out Nightblades that actually work way better, like the Volatile Armor. It has a bigger radius, and it functions better, and it's cheaper than using this one. So yeah, you can use it for, you know, pulling out people, but I wouldn't say that's the best option that you have. The next one, Ferocious Leap. That, of course, Dragon Leap. Everybody knows Dragon Leap. Does a lot of damage. It's also a gap closer. It's considered a gap closer, so you can, you know, close a gap. If someone's running away, you can just leap. The funny thing, and also kind of annoying thing, depending on which side of the leap you are, when you're leaping somebody, they're getting heavily snared. They can basically almost not move until you hit them. Even when they're in mist form. It doesn't matter. People just get really, really slow when you leap them. For you as a Dragon Knight, that's awesome. If you are on the receiving end of the leap, it's atrocious. It feels so bad. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It's a cheap ultimate. It hits pretty hard. And of course, like I said, make sure you get your Molten Whip up. Make sure you're like fully buffed and then hit them with the leap, so you get the most damage out of it. So on the back bar, we got Coagulating Blood. This is your main heal. Hits pretty hard, gives you a big fat heal, gives you the Major Fortitude, which you don't really need on this build, but you know, if you want to go more for like a health regen kind of style, you can do that if you wanted to. The next one is Volatile Armor. We talked about this. This is your major armor buff. It puts a magic damage dot on people. It has some damage return. When people attack you, they take damage. And like I said, you can use this very, very well to pull out Nightblades. It has a 10-meter radius, which is pretty big. And it just functions well. It's not that expensive, so you can just spam it basically. Make sure you pull the Nightblade out every time they go in stealth. They're going to hate you for it. They're going to hate you for it. This is the best skill for pulling out a Nightblade. The next one is the Fragmented Shield. This, of course, is, you know, a teeny tiny shield. You're not really using it for the shield. You're using it for the Major Mending, which lasts 6 seconds, and that's amazing. So when you're taking damage, you want to cast the Fragmented Shield first and then go into the healing, which is, you know, it's going to supercharge your heals. So that's really, really nice. And that's all that it's for. You can also spam it to get some stamina back due to the Dragon Knight passives. But, you know, it's mainly for the Major Mending. That's what it is. The next one is Elusive Mist. This is, of course, your tanking and kind of mobility skill. If you get snared, if you get rooted, you can get out of there with Mist form. You can't be CC'd while you're in Mist form. and you're taking a lot less damage. There's a 75% damage mitigation going on while you're in the form. And of course, Elusive Mist is a toggle now, so it only costs you 900 Magicka every second. You can flick it on. You don't have to run it for a long time if you want. You know, you can just basically, when you see something coming in, you can just flick it on and just absorb whatever's coming in. There's a snipe coming in, you just go in, boom, snipe hits you, you go out of it. And, you know, also, it's pretty good for sieges. When the siege is coming, and you know, oh, here comes the siege, you go in mist form, you absorb the damage. It's really nice. You get out of there, you mist behind an obstacle, heal back up, and you're fine. So that's how I like to use mist form a lot. It's really nice against siege, really nice against like incoming damage that you can see, like a snipe that's coming from far away. You can see it flying. Just go in mist form, absorb the damage. There's no reason that you need to take damage that you could otherwise just absorb. And the next one is Molten Armaments. This is, of course, our spell damage buff here, and it makes the heavy attacks hit really hard, which we're doing. We're doing a lot of heavy attacks on this build, as you will see from the footage. I like doing just a heavy attack into an Empowering Chains, just to open up, you know, and then I get close to the target and I do my rotations. But just that alone can sometimes chunk people for like 50% of their health. You know, they get hit by like a 6k heavy attack, followed by like a 5k chains, and they just lose 50% of their health. So that's a good opener. And then, you know, if you just follow up with a leap immediately, sometimes that's all it takes. A squishy target is gonna die from that easily. So yeah, and the ultimate on the back bar is Swarming Scion. We talked about this so many times. I hate this skill. Why am I using it? You might ask. If you hate it, why are you using it? Just because I want to and I need to, and I feel like I need to make it work, and sometimes it works. I just feel like it doesn't do as much for you as other ultimates. I still feel like I need to force myself to use it. I want to get better at using it. I want to discover what it's good at and what it's not good at. So I'm only using this in very specific situations when I really feel like I need it. It's very expensive. Of course, it gives you a 10k boost to your max health, the Magicka, and the stamina. Which is nice. It gives you some, you know, it also heals you up fully while you do this. So this is kind of like an oh shit button when you're taking a lot of damage, and you might not have the Magicka to heal yourself, but you got enough ultimate. So use that thing. This is gonna heal you to full because you're a DK, and this is a very expensive ultimate. It's going to give you a lot of resources back for casting it. So just for casting this, this is going to get you out of a lot of trouble. Like I said, it's going to increase the health by 10k, which with the scaling is more than 10k. It's going to heal you to full, and it's going to give you a lot of resources back, which is going to, you know, make you able to do something again, even if you're like completely out of resources. Stamina gone, Magicka gone, health gone. Pop that sucker and you're basically back in business. So that's what it's good at. It's also good, you know, not really as a soloing tool, I would say. I feel like you're better off leaping people when you're solo, but when you're fighting in a group, this is actually really, really nice. If you're not being focused by a lot of people, and you can operate freely and you can do combos on people, this is going to do a lot for you, because it's going to heal you. It's going to do some magic damage around you in the area, and it's just going to increase your damage. So feel free to use it. If you feel like it's not really doing much for you, I would recommend using Meteor. Meteor is a really good ultimate, which I like to use on a Dragonknight all the time. Or just pick whatever ultimate you fancy on the back bar. So yeah, I'll leave that up to you. Let's check out the CP. In the Retry, of course, as always, 51 Ironclad, 77 Resistant, 43 in Hardy, and 43 in Elemental Defender. 56 in Quick Recovery, 37 Warlord, 19 Sprinter, 22 in Mooncav, 56 in Arcanist, and 43 in Tenacity, 56 in tumbling, because we're tumbling a lot. We're dodging a lot on this build. Because you can do that. Dodge, misform, dodge, misform. That's kind of the style that you want to go for. And a little bit, of course, in Shadow Ward 37. That should be enough for you. You don't want to block that much. In the offensive tree, in the blue tree, 56 Elfborn, 56 Elemental Expert, and 77 in Spell Erosion, just to get the spell penetration even up further. Flat 5k, I always like the 77 points in here. Looks really nice. And then, of course, the rest, the 81 in Mastered Arms, just for some nice burst damage. We're not investing anything in Thaumaturge here. You could if you wanted to, but we don't really have that many dots. We only have 2 dots on this one. So go for the burst damage and you're going to be fine. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the build. I hope you like it. I had a lot of fun playing this. I was a little, I felt a little iffy when I put this together. I was like, I don't know if I like this. The first day I played it, I wasn't very happy with it. But I kind of learned how to play the build, and then it was fun. It's really, really fun in BGs. It works really, really well in no CP. It does a lot of damage, has good amount of sustain. It's just a fuck ton of fun to play. So yeah, try it out, guys. That's all I got for you. Take it easy. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay? Check it out. Tell me what you think about it. I'll be back in a couple days with another build video. So, yeah, take it easy, guys. See you next time.